Hello, welcome to Zak's Traders Cafe. Today I'm joined once again by Clem Chambers, who seems to be in Hawaii today. How are you today, Clem?
I'm in Monaco, Zach. You appear to be in some ethereal land.
Yes, I'm on a
Maybe it's heaven, maybe it's hell.
very low resolution camera. But anyway, you're very very graphic and everything. So it says under your name or alongside your name, Clem Chambers aNewFN.com. What does that mean?
That means there's a new kid in town when it comes to financial websites, a new financial network. And you can go there and you can get free real time.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
yeah. Free, uncontended, forever and ever. Amen. No charge, never will be.
Well,
Quote. And then
that's really good because I'm going to stop using the thing that I'm using at the moment. I won't say what it is, of course, which is a 15-minute delay, which obviously in my game is about as useful as a chocolate teapot or something like that. Um,
as an ashtray on a motorbike.
yeah, that one. Yeah, yeah, exactly. With Barry Sheen driving it or doing whatever, Anyway, so a new website. The other thing which has actually been a bit of a blow to regular people looking at the market or people regularly looking at the market is news alerts from companies. Is there a sort of a news? Can you sort of type in your favorite stocks and whenever they have an RNS that'll come out because that is quite useful as well.
Well, we are in what they would call early alpha. So we went live yesterday and we had so much demand, we fell over in a heap
Okay.
immediately. Not that we didn't get back up immediately as well, but we're in that early stage. And all it is London real time prices. But obviously, we will be putting lots of stuff in. But, or I should say, and the whole idea is community will tell us what they want. Well, you're a member of the community, or you will be, and you'll say, "Oh, RNS alerts. I want you to send them on WhatsApp or Telegram or
Yes.
something.
Yes.
As soon as it comes out, I want you to go bloop, bloop, bloop on my telephone." And we'll go, "Yeah, sure." We might also send you an ad because
Okay.
we,
Oh,
you know,
that's
we're
all right.
gonna
No, I
we're
think
not a
the
charity.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I suppose I was going to ask about that, but free real-time prices is obviously is great, and it is one of the most irritating things about. I mean, about anyone looking at the market. The news
Save
thing,
£100 a year, easy.
exactly. So I was actually just toying with paying. Can you believe that? I was actually toying with signing up to a service. So there we are. You've saved me. I've already signed up to your website anyway. So I just need to look at it now. But at least I'm a member of the community. So my thing about RNS alerts, I hope will be followed through. It would be very useful given my day job. In terms of what else you're doing, is that the main thing? Is that your main focus? A new FN?
Well, I mean, I make my call in the markets, and I've done that for many many years, and other things on top. So yeah, I mean, I've got a new YouTube channel, Clem Chambers Alpha, which of course is all part of the whole idea. And I do a YouTube every 2 days, ranting about one thing or another. And I've been very fortunate recently because I've been talking about platinum and palladium and gold for quite some time, and of course they've all gone through the roof. Of course, it's all down to me. Anyway, they've all gone through the roof. Actually, it's all down to Donald. But and I've been talking about Intel for quite some time, and then that's just exploded. So I'm talking about those sort of things, and I'm now very much talking about copper. And there's a copper company in Poland, KGHR. Can't remember their full name now, but you could go find it. Polish copper, big copper mine, and also like 5% of all silver manufacturers, second largest silver producer. It's on the Euronext. So I'm talking about things like that. And when I get a sudden rush of blood to my head, which is often, I'm doing these videos, and people can find out what's on my mind. And of course, people are very happy with me at the moment because if they listened to me and said that guy's not completely mad, I'll buy some gold, platinum, palladium. He must be completely mad, but I'll have some. And Intel, what is he thinking? Boom, up it goes, etc., etc. So, I mean, I've got a lot of people that are happy with me at the moment for giving them ideas because I don't give advice. I just give raw material from what I'm doing and why I think it's great for them to think about it themselves and see whether they like it or not. And things to watch. I did a YouTube video recently where I talked about defense stocks. And I listed a whole load of US defense stocks because obviously in the UK they've already gone, and in Europe they've already gone, but they haven't already gone in America. They've got to go. Now, if you go and you look at the crazy little defense stocks, well, Palantir is not crazy little anymore, but the new boys on the block, people like Kratos who are doing drones, they've gone as well. But if you look at people like Grumman, Northrop Grumman, or all the other guys, Lockheed Martin, I mean, 18 PE in America, paying a 2.5% dividend in America, paying a dividend. What? And these are the Goliath companies of things that go bang. And if it's getting pretty spicy out there, I mean, let's have all the generals in the room. I need to tell them to pull their finger out of whatever orifice they've got it in. I mean, it's very, very spicy out there. But American defense stocks have really moved. And of course, I think Lockheed Martin can make drones. I think they'd be pretty good at that. And Northrop Grumman, I think they'd be pretty good at that. And there's a load of other L3 Harris is another one, etc., etc. And I did a video about not about buying them, but about watching them. Watch these guys, get familiar with them, read up on them, and then if suddenly they go buy gold, I mean, obviously, but they are gigantic exploding canaries in the geopolitical coal mine. And when they move, boy, buy a bunker and buy their stock. Move to New Zealand. Actually, don't move to New Zealand. Move to Chile. That's where you've got to go if this one comes up. Move to Chile and buy their stock. And I'm doing videos like that where I rant like I'm ranting with you now.
Yes, you're doing a very good job. There was one or two things I want to, off the back of what you said. The first thing is, I think that we spoke. I remember like a year or so ago when we spoke, a year and a half ago. We did one of these, and you said, the forthcoming bull market, and I was thinking, especially in the UK, the guy must be mad. I mean, there's no way. We're completely marooned and destroyed and everything else. And lo and behold, got the FTSE making new highs every day, and even the small caps, what's left of them, the ones that haven't delisted, doing well as well. Sort of multi-baggers, sort of every week. I think this week it was UK oil and gas. I think Wildcat went up as well. I mean, the stuff, it's almost like every dog having its day, and the day is 2025. So you see, for some reason, you see a lot of companies that, like the worse the reputation, the worse the name, actually, the more it goes up, which I think is, I haven't seen that for a long time. I think that's like, 90s and noughties stuff. And it's almost like, you're almost now, you're talking about, the next defense stocks to get to in the US. But here it's almost like the worse the reputation of the small cap, the smaller the market cap, the more likely it is to be, because also there's not enough listed real estate now as well, because so many people left. So it's the same amount of money, or maybe possibly more money, but the same amount of money going into fewer slots. So I think that's also helping the market. The other thing that's helping is that most people with any sense obviously gave up on shares ages ago. No sellers left. They sold out. I'm never going back to the stock market again. And that's always the opportunity. That's the bottom of the market, which I think we hit. Probably with Labour coming in.
If you treat the market like a casino, it will treat you like a punter, and you will lose all your money. If you treat it like a farm, like you're a farmer, it will give you a crop. And yes, I mean, there's now only 500 AIM stocks left.
Yeah.
And it's still a disaster area mechanically. I mean, companies are getting charged a fortune and then basically getting drained of every ounce of blood by the advisors and by the system and by the market makers and by the regulators, etc., etc. So it's still a totally toxic, death spiral place. If you're
but do you think? Yeah, but do you think that's going to
your game?
Well, yeah, but if that is that going to change at some point? That obviously they've killed the golden goose, or they're killing the golden goose. At some point, all these people, let's call it the city establishment, and I actually wrote about one of the city establishment some months ago, and I got a nasty email saying, "Can you take that down?" So obviously that didn't go very well.
Who did you get the nasty email from?
I can't say it because I'll get another nasty. I'll tell you offline. But it was literally
but was that a person or was that a regulator?
It was an organization. It was an organization. So no, it wasn't a regulator, thankfully. But what was interesting is that I was saying that, all the people who are supposed to be helping small cap companies and business growth and everything else are actually the people who just have a cushy job at 100K a year or whatever they get and do absolutely nothing apart from attend glamorous dinners and lunches. So that is not, somebody who loves the stock market and have done so since I was a kid. It's like seeing your best friend be getting beaten up day after day after day. In fact, seeing yourself beaten up
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
why it's doomed.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, this system is doomed, Zach. I
yeah.
mean, for sure.
Yeah, but they
But,
could, yeah, but they
I
could
don't
have, yeah,
like,
but they could have a Netflix model for being listed. So you get listed and you pay your 50 grand a year, and with that you get all the legal, the accounting, the auditing, everything in one
you'd have
bundle.
to work. You'd have to
What?
do work for that. They'd have to do work. They'd have to do work for that. They'd have to work hard. What are you thinking?
Yeah, but that's the way of doing it, right?
Yeah, but you'd have to work hard. How do you, what, you think this is Britain and you're talking about?
Well, you can use AI. I
Yeah.
mean, most of these things now will be AI anyway. All the
AI,
legal,
they've got NS, they've got tons of NS, natural stupidity. AI, they can barely switch their computers on. Come on, get real. I mean,
All right.
look, it's going to be December the 5th, and that's Christmas started. And then they'll come back. It used to be the 15th of January, but now it'll be February.
Yeah,
And then they'll go away for Easter, and they
yeah.
won't come back for a month. And then it'll be 6 weeks before summer starts, and they won't come back to the middle of
Half term as
September.
well. Don't
And
forget half
then,
term.
you know, you're talking about 4 months, 5 months worth of work a year. And
Yeah.
that's counting maybe that they might work 4 hours a day.
Well, no, but I
I
actually
mean,
I don't blame with that for that because if you're being charged at 50% tax, you should only work half the year anyway.
well, so it's systemic, isn't it? So it's a doom loop.
Yeah, it is. No,
They don't work, and it's a doom loop.
well,
So, what's going to
luckily I'm
happen?
old and I won't be able to see what happens in the end. But
Well,
I
it's being strip mined.
yeah.
It's being strip mined, Zach,
Mm.
by foreign investors and entities. And that's why all the prices are going up. And, nobody wants to buy the stock. That's why all the buybacks are for. So the prices are going to go up. But that's part of the doom loop. Yeah. When people go, hold on a minute, this dead cow's got steak on it. Yeah. And the steak price goes up. But they'll all be vanishing over the next 3 to 5 years. It's all going away. Yeah. The London Stock Exchange, the CEO of the London Stock Exchange is not on the board of the London Stock Exchange. They're not called the London Stock Exchange anymore. They're called LSEG. Yeah. And they're not about the stock exchange anymore. That's all. It's over. But that moment when all those planets go over the event horizon into the black hole, it releases huge amounts of energy, and that's where we make our money. Yeah. So it's no good saying, oh, why don't they work harder and do a good deal and make everybody profit? They're just there to predate. It's a predatory system. And only the right wing like the stock market. The left wing think it's a curse, and they always have thought it's a curse, and maybe even is slightly a curse. It's certainly a curse in the current configuration. That's why everybody's leaving. Hey, I'm going to America where I'll get 4 times the value for my share. It's a doom loop. It's a doom loop, and it's the doom loop that's making the prices go up because everything's for sale. Bargain bucket Britain. Hey, buy 2 PLCs and get one free. Yeah,
Yeah, but then
it's
once you get your cheap PLC, what do you do with it? Or this is foreign buyers. This is foreign
you
people buying.
export the jobs, you take the cash, and then you strip it down and sell it to other predators. That's what,
Oh,
private equity. It's like private equity is bigger than the stock markets these days. Most of the equities with private equity. Well, how can private capital end up buying all the public capital stuff? Well, because the public capital stuff, because the way it's jiggled about, devalues the asset. And then you come in as private equity, buy a devalued asset and strip it.
that's a good
Asset
idea.
stripping,
I see where you're coming from, though. That's a good idea. I've got to come in the wrong
well,
business.
that's what's happening. That's what happened. Well, of course you are. And I mean, all the private equities people, oh, Buana, private equity, Buana, oh, Buana. And venture capital, oh, everybody wants to be a venture capitalist, oh, Buana. Yeah. Public company, no, 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 no.
So you could buy. So basically, you could buy the FTSE
See,
one. You could buy all the companies in the FTSE 100 with say 1 trillion, or whatever the number is, right? You could buy it. You could buy it now, and then you could sell all the bits and bobs of the FTSE 100 for 3 times the money.
Two or three times, yeah. I mean, if you take a really good British company in the FTSE 100 and then match it with the American equivalent, they're at least twice the valuation, at least twice the valuation, somewhere between two and three. And if you get into tech, do you know what? ARM is at 30 times sales. I don't know what it was before it was, strip mined out of the UK, but 30 times sales, 30. There's nothing in the UK at any scale, anything like that. Three or
So,
four
so,
max.
so
10,
yeah.
10, you're pushing it.
So I remember the days of James Goldsmith and Lord Hanson, proper people and everything, when there was actually proper enterprise and business going on. And there'd be dawn raids. They'd sort of say, "Oh, we're going to buy, Sainsbury, or we're going to buy Tesco, or something like that." That's what could be done now. You could just buy
Well, so what is
Sainsbury.
being done now?
Yeah. So,
It's
but
being
you
done
could.
now. And go on, carry on.
No, no, that was it. I was all ears. Go on.
No, it's being done now. But of course, if you're going to do an asset strip now,
Yeah.
you're a private equity guy and you go in and say, "Hey, Zach, you're the CEO of Wombat PLC. How would you like to own 10%? Because you own nothing of it now." You would. Oh, excellent. Now make sure the price is a third of what it is today, and we'll come in and we'll buy it off those poor shareholders, and then we'll give you 10%. How does that sound? Sound good? Okay, let's go.
Hmm. So do you think that all this is going to happen, start happening?
It's been happening for years.
No, no, but I mean,
It's
it's
been
going to
happening
start,
for years.
but that's why maybe there's the re-rating the FTSE, or the FTSE is going, it's nine thousand
They're
four hundred.
running out of road.
Hmm.
They're running out of road. Look, it's all down. If you actually, it's a moment. Everything in the market is money flow, right? It's where the direction of the money. Where is it flowing? Yeah, and it's all about money flow momentum. Now, if you look at what really is, if I put a stone in your shoe and tell you to walk 100 miles, but you've got to keep that stone in your shoe, you'll be dead. It'll kill you, right? So a tiny little thing that hurts you, if you don't deal with it, it will kill you, right? And in the London market, that is stamp duty. So if you look at all the markets with stamp duty, France, UK, Belgium, yeah, Spain, they're nothing. You look at markets without stamp duty, Germany, America, the valuations are through the roof because you haven't got this systemic disease of sucking the money out of the market, 0.5%, 1% every year. Because the equities go around once or twice a year on average. So that's 1% that's been taken from the root of the tree. They
Yeah,
they
but
they
I think there's
they
yeah, but there's
they
two things
kill the root
there's
rather
two
than tax the fruit,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
there's two
So
things. Yeah, but
that
there's two
drains it.
things.
Now, if you look at the French market and the UK market, you'll see they're quite similar. Apart from when the French market lowered its transaction tax and it started to take off, and then they put it back on again, it came back down again. Yeah. Now you look at the German market and S&P 500. Oh, funny enough, they're the same. No transaction tax, right? So you've got this constant bleed. The market's bleeding out between 0.5% and 1% compound a year with the transaction tax, right? Now, if they got rid of stamp duty, the market would triple, yeah, and they would tax the profits at 20 or 30%, whatever capital gains is in your country, yeah, and then make way more money. But they're ignorant and they're stupid and they
No, no,
hate
but no, no, but, no,
stocks.
yeah, but there's many issues here. Number one, the countries that have stamp duty, the mentality of the people there reflects that. They don't like people with money, and they're sort of, they're sort of socialist lefties and everything else. That's number one. Number two, those people don't want they don't want to get tax money in any way. They don't care about money. They just care about destroying the private sector, destroying business, and destroying elites or perceived elites like you. So that's their goal. The whole it's like the Labour government now. They're not trying. They love black holes. They want there to be as much. Want the country to be in as much debt as possible, so that people have to be socialists. They have to vote Labour. They're dependent on the state. So that's the whole thing. So you're right with the stone analogy, but we have that everywhere, and the fact that we still have that is a win for those people. They love it. They love the way that you if you're trying to get rich, you're paying. It's like stamp duty on houses as well. Ridiculous amount of money that Angela Rayner. It was 70 grand or something. 70 grand. That takes like somebody 2, 3 years to earn, and you're just paying that to buy a property. and then obviously the inheritance tax at the end. So it's just to impoverish people and keep them down, and that's the sort of the
Well,
whole the thing
you
that
see, I'm not a big conspiracy
it's
theorist
not
in as much
conspiracy.
as,
It's not even
I
conspiracy.
mean,
It's just it's the way they are.
ideological. I don't think it's ideological. I think it's somewhat different. I think people that work in the public sector, what they think of all the time is retirement and their pension, and all they care about is their retirement and their pension. And when you look at the absolute liabilities behind these people's pensions, they have to take all the private sector's money because they have to pay their pensions,
Yeah.
and
So this
therefore
yes.
any money that's not nailed down, they just grab it.
Yeah. Exactly. So day one
Conditions,
of
paying conditions and pensions. That's where it all goes.
day one of a Zak Mir government, there would be no pensions in the public sector. That's it, because there's no pensions in
You
the
know, good
private.
luck with that.
No, well, no, well, no,
But I mean,
in the end it'll have
I
to in the end it'll have to happen anyway. That will have to happen because we'll just be literally starving in the street. That will have to
it's not
happen.
how it goes. It's not how it goes. Look at Argentina. They're still getting their pensions there. That's why they have that hyperinflation, because they just print it and hand it out for pensions. They just print out, but just add noughts every few years onto their banknotes and hand it out as pensions. So they don't have tax; they just have inflation,
All right.
and all
Well,
that money goes to government paying conditions and pensions. That's the beast of the public sector, and it grows and it grows and it grows, and it leans on the private sector more and more and more. And as it grows, the private sector shrinks, and boom, down it goes. Anyway, I think a lot of British people have worked it out.
all right.
But death spirals, oh dear, hard things to turn around. Who's going to turn it around?
All right. Well, I'll give you 5 minutes, Clem, to just talk about your favorite things, because I think that's probably what people want to know, apart from your new website.
Well, you see, I'm not actually a pessimist. You see, I think there's AI and there's NS, natural stupidity, infinite quantities of it. AI, there's going to be a lot of that, and that's going to change everything. It's going to absolutely change everything because it's an Aladdin's lamp, and it's out it's out in the system now, and that's going to create a massive economic boom. And even, well, the sort of people that are in power now, in 10, 15 years, they won't be. Yeah, because AI will have a very interesting way of changing everything. And so, whatever. I mean, yes, a country can go into decline and keep going into decline and can end up in a really bad place for sure. But I think that what we're going to see, and it starts now, it's already started, is this massive economic boom, where things like minerals will go through the roof, and where there'll be huge economic increases in productivity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And anybody that wants to get on the front foot with that and wants to follow that and wants to back it will make a ton of money. And people that sit back and go, "Oh no, AI," well, they'll perish. So I'm very, very positive, because I'm absolutely all over um, AI like a rash, and I've just made a ton of money in Intel because that's all about AI too, right? So anybody get on the program with AI, jump in, learn everything you can about it and what it means, and back that outcome, and you will not want for money.
Clem Chambers from aNewFN.com. Thank you very much indeed.
That's my pleasure, Zach. And if people go to aNewFN now, they can get free real-time UK prices. We're very, very early, but what we want is, we want the people to feed back to us and say, "I'd love to have one of these. I'd love to have that indicator. I'd love to have that kind of chart. I'd love to have that kind of news information. I love that." And that's what we will be generating. That's what we will be creating, a community platform for active private investors, not necessarily active, but private investors who are out there on the front foot, trying to, battle the entropy that is the UK these days, and be, in a situation to capitalize and at least protect themselves from all this wall of crud that is the UK and its current setup.
Thank you very much, Clem.